You are listening to, I say you are listening to, you are absolutely listening to the George Espinlove Show, coming to you live from the Funny Farm. Now, with no further ado, here comes Georgie!
Thank you. Oh, my goodness. Thank you. Wow. Well, here it is, Monday night, live from the Funny Farm in a place called Our World. We have no specific mailing address. We don't even know where Our World is. The only thing we know is that we live here. But we do have email. You can reach us, George C.E. at Comcast.net, George C.E. at Comcast.net. And to all of our friends down the street, around the corner, across this great nation, and around the world, I welcome you to the George Espinlove Show.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, this is Georgia Woodbine.
Hi, Georgia. We just went live, and you are now on the air. How's that for timing?
That's perfect timing, if I would say so myself.
That's great. Hey, listen, we called tonight's radio show Ladies' Night with Georgia Woodbine. Is that all right?
That's fine with me.
Okay. All right. Can you hear us loud and clear on your end?
Yes, I can.
Okay. All righty. I was just introducing the show, and we were just opening up when you gave us a ringy-dingy, and I thank you for doing that. If we're somewhat loose as a goose around here, so we don't try to take too much too serious too long because it scares us half to death. But we are delighted to have you here. You know,
thanks for having me, George.
When I was reading over the material, you have been hard at it.
Yeah, I've been doing this for a while. Definitely a while, because I'm passionate about it. I love what I do.
I can tell. I watched one of the videos, and I could see your excitement and your passion. I didn't need to be a rocket scientist to figure out that you are passionate about what you do. Yes.
That's so important. Very important.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm an author, motivational speaker, and life coach. I've written several books, not even knowing that I had the talent to write a book. So I'm always telling people about tapping into their passion and trying to find your true calling and turning your passion into profits. I think a lot about those things. And writing was something that came very natural to me. And when I wrote my first book, I was like, wow, I could actually write a book. And then, because I was already doing it, and I always tell people your passion is already tied to something you've been doing your whole entire life, but you just don't know it because you haven't been paid for it yet. Mm-hmm. And so, once I started getting paid to go speak and then, selling the books, I was like, wow, I could actually turn my day job into my dream job into my day job. And, I just began writing more books, and, I started speaking. I started speaking at schools, and then I started speaking at organizations, and then it just started to trickle down. And like I said, you can't teach what you don't know, and you can't lead where you don't go. So a lot of stuff that I do talk about is stuff that I've experienced myself and lessons that I've learned myself and how I was able to turn things around in my own personal life. So, I tell people, I only tell you what I know. I can't tell something I don't know.
Life is a pretty good teacher, although sometimes it can be awful cruel, huh?
Yeah. But, I believe everything happens for a reason. And, sometimes you have to go through those, go around in a circle before you could find your way and go through experiences and hit your head a couple of times and then come back again and become more innovative with your ideas, and then you never know what can happen after that. And, that's basically what I did. I always knew it was something I wanted to do, and I had this burning desire to help other people, find that their inner peace, find their purpose, how to attract things into their life. These are all the things I talk about all the time. And as you know, that's what we're going to be talking about tonight.
Mm-hmm.
But, just from my own personal experiences and how I was able to turn my life around and attract the things that I wanted to happen and create the things I wanted to happen, I was like, wow, this really works. I got to tell everybody about it. And that's pretty much what happened.
How old were you when you first started writing?
Well, that's my point is, I've been writing my entire life, ever since I was a young girl. But when I really recognized that I had the gift to write,
mm-hmm.
I was probably in my early 20s when I realized that I had the ability to write. I wouldn't say that, because when I was in high school, I knew I could write, but I never knew that I could do it professionally. It was just something that I enjoyed doing. It was like therapy to keep a journal, to write, and that's just how it started from a kid. So, I didn't realize that I could really turn it into a talent until later on. And I said, okay, I want to write a book about the music business. I want to write a book about this. I want to write, and all the things that I experienced in my life, all the different seasons of my life, I wrote a book about it. And then, that's how it all came about. So I'm excited to share with everybody.
I was looking over the material. Have you written, and forgive me if I missed it, but have you written a book on writing?
Yes, I actually have it's not a book, but it's a manual on how to write the book inside of you that I taught at the Learning Annex.
Mm.
So it's a program on how to write the book inside you, and it's, like a manual on how to actually go about getting over writer's block, how to come up with the chapter titles for your book, and it breaks everything down on how to write a book. So it's called How to Write the Book Inside You. That's actually one of my products. It's a workbook.
I like that title, How to Write the Book Inside You.
Yeah, I believe everybody has a book inside them.
Yeah,
everybody does.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say next, because we've had a tremendous amount of authors on, and usually I ask them, do you believe that most of us, if not all of us, have a story down deep inside of us, and all we have to do is find some way of bringing it out? And the majority of the time I get the answer yes. Do you feel that way too?
Oh, absolutely. I believe everybody has a book inside them, because we've all had different experiences of things that happened to us and lessons learned that we can use that to help somebody else. So I totally believe that everybody has a book inside them. How many people actually can go through and writing a book and taking the time out? It takes a lot of discipline. Anybody can do it. You can put your mind to anything that you want to accomplish. And, I always tell people, when I was teaching at the Learning Annex, I had people in the class, and somebody told me they was working on a book for 20 years. And I said, 20 years? You're just trying to finish a book? And because they haven't, built that discipline around it. But, my whole thing is, if you focus on something long enough and hard enough, you can make it happen. And, that's the truth. You just have to have the discipline, and that's really what you need to be, to actually write the book and finish the book, is to have the discipline.
The discipline and the tenacity. I guess, did I hear you say, or was it someone, I hear so much anymore, that stubbornness is a good thing to have at times?
Stubbornness? I don't know if I'd say stubbornness is a good thing to have. I would say that, sometimes you have to be pushed up against the wall before you make a decision to change something. Mm-hmm. I believe that happens a lot to people, because most people won't change something unless they're forced to change it. And unless their back is up against the wall and they can't go any other direction, so they have to make a decision. So I would say that sometimes it takes that for people to make a choice or make a decision, is where they're backed up against the wall, and then they say, okay, I have to do this, or I have to make this happen, or I have to make a decision on this, or I have to get out of this relationship, or I have to, they have to get to a point where they have to make a decision. They just can't keep on a seesaw just going back and forth about something if they wanted to change.
People have the tendency to feel like if they're somewhere in the middle sitting, that's a safety net. But that can be a dangerous place, can't it?
Yeah, and I mean, I talk about that even in my book, How to Attract the Right Man into Your Life. And, you know, I believe that we all have to come to a place where we could first see what the problem is. Because if you don't see what the problem is, you can't fix it. And a lot of times when people are in dysfunctional relationships or, you know, in a place that's not healthy for them or they're not in a healthy relationship, it's hard for them to see outside of that. You know, everybody else is telling them, you know, this is not good for you, but they can't see it themselves. And that's why I talk about why it's so important to really try to take time out for yourself to really find out who you are as an individual. What is it that you want to accomplish in your lifetime? You know, what are some goals that you have? You know, writing down your goals and trying to figure out what's going to make me happy as an individual, not so much with a person that can make you happy or a thing that can make you happy or money that can make you happy, but what is it that gives me joy in life, in the present? And that's where people really need to focus on how they can find their present joy.
Your latest book, how to attract the right man in your life without, what was it? It's
no more settling.
No more settling. That's it. And your website is georgiawoodbine.net, right?
That's right.
Okay.
That's it.
Did that come out in March? Did I get that right?
Yes, April.
April.
The book just came out, yes, in April. And I've been getting a lot of excitement about the book. And, you know, I wrote it because of my own personal experience struggling with relationships. You know, like I said, you know, everything I write about is something that I went through. And I think a lot of women are at a point in their lives where they're feeling like Mr. Right doesn't exist. But I'm here to tell them that that's not true, that Mr. Right is still out there.
All right, ladies, you heard it. Mr. Right is still out there.
Exactly.
Now, you wrote it from your own experience.
Right.
A lot, and I hear this a lot now. I'm getting old. I'm almost 2 days older than dirt now, but nonetheless, I hear this a lot from some women. There are no good men out there.
That's the problem with women verbalizing that, with women saying to themselves that there's no good men. And, you know, I talk about this in seminars. I talk about this when I do book signings and talks. If you continue to tell yourself that there's no good men out there, that's exactly what you're going to attract, a no good man. Because the more you verbalize that, the more you believe it. The more you believe it, the more it starts to penetrate in your mind where it's like you start to act out. So if you even meet a nice guy, you're already putting him on the outside because you haven't even given him a chance, because in your mind you're already feeling that there's no good men out there. So you're putting that energy out there, and that's the energy that's going to come back to you. So the first thing I talk about in the book, besides getting to know yourself and what you want and what will make you happy, because I think some women think just because you have a man, that's going to make you happy, but that's not true. You know, if you're not happy with yourself, you're not going to be happy with somebody else. Mm-hmm. So just because a man is in your life, that's not what's going to complete you as a woman. You know, that's the first thing. But, you know, I talk a lot about how to really get to a place where you could find out what's going to make you happy. You know, sometimes women say, oh, you know, I want a man that's going to do this or a man that's going to do that. You have to be honest with yourself on what you're really looking for. And I think a lot of times some women and men, they're not sure what they really want. So they're sending mixed messages out to the universe, and they're bringing all these different types of people in their life, and they're like, why can't I get the person I want? Because they're not really sure about what they want. You know, you have to get to a place where you really know where you're at. You have to know what you don't want in your new relationship, because I think a lot of times when people have been in past relationships, they repeat a lot of the same negative habits and negative behavior patterns. So it has a lot to do with, okay, what I don't want to happen in this new relationship and what I want to attract in this relationship, and being open to it coming in any form. And also getting rid of the words my type. You know, if you want to attract the right man, you can't say it has to be a certain type, because he may not come in the form that you're expecting.
That's an interesting point. And I'm sure that we've all heard that throughout our lives. He's not my type, she's not my type. What is our type? I mean, you know, do you know what I'm saying? I mean,
right. I mean, that's part of the problem. You know, if you say, okay, he has to be 6 feet tall, he has to have green eyes, he has to have blue eyes, he has to, you know, he has to be like look like a bodybuilder, or he has to look like he goes to the gym, or see, now when you start to put a perception in, I mean, it's nothing wrong with wanting certain qualities in a person, but people need to look more about someone's characteristics and not so much their physical appearance, because physical appearance can always fool you. Just because the man might have physical traits that you might like, he may not have personal characteristics that you may like. So that's why I say, you know, women should get rid of the words my type and just allow for the energy for the right person to come into their life that they need, not so much what they want. Because what I'm talking about is not all the time when you think you want something in life, you should have it. You should have what you need, what's going to be good for you, what's going to help you grow as an individual, what's going to make you grow as a person, what's going to help take you to another level, you know, take you to a higher potential in your life. So it's not always what you think you want, but it's what you need to have. And when you can get to a place where you can clearly, with what it is that's going to make you happy, why do you want these personal traits of the man that you want to attract? You know, I tell women to write stuff down. What is it that you want this man to have that you're going to meet? What are some of the things you see yourself doing with this person? What are some of the places you want to go? How do you want to feel when you're around this person? Because when you can start to get the feeling of what it feels like to be with that person and feel that joyful feeling and feel that exciting feeling, now you're in a place where you can attract it, because now you're operating on a higher level. You're not operating on a level of negativity where we were talking about earlier, where you're saying there's no good men out there, I can't find any good guys, you know, I keep meeting all these jerks, you know, they only want one thing, you know, the cliches. So, you know, that's a big part of it. You know, really knowing what you want and getting yourself to a place where you can be alone to meditate, to find yourself, not jump from relationship to relationship, allow time where you can be alone, where you can get to know yourself and get to love yourself, because that's really the key, is loving yourself first. And when you can love yourself first and be happy with being alone and not having a woman or man by your side all the time, where that makes you feel complete, you can become comfortable in your own skin and content with who you are as a person.
Ladies and gentlemen, now listen to me very carefully, because this is Ladies' Night Out with Georgia Woodbine. Go to her website, Georgia Woodbine, WOODBINE.net. How to attract the right man into your life. No more settling. You know, well, I guess I have to settle for this or I have to settle for that. The other thing is, if you have any comments or questions that you want to ask Georgia, call this number, 302-497-3414. That's 302-497-3414. Georgia, do you feel that society really puts a dinger on both men and women nowadays? I mean, the pressure that you got to look a certain way, act a certain way, be a certain something.
Yes, I do think that society puts pressure on everyone, but you know, it's up to you as an individual to say, you know what, this is what I want to have happen in my life. You know, we have control over what we want to create. That's the bottom line. We create the emotions that we have, the feelings that we have. We create it. When we're sad, when we're happy, we make those feelings happen. And we have the power to control those feelings. So society is always going to, you know, put things out there for people to feel that, okay, you should be married by a certain age, you should have a child by a certain age, you should have your career going at a certain age. And I don't really agree with any of that, because different strokes for different folks. People, you know, do things at different times in their life, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, it's nothing wrong with, you know, taking the time out to find out what you really want. And, you know, which brings me to, like, where I talk about, you know, in relationships, how, you know, this dating game and how people are just so caught up with, okay, you know, what this person has, what can this person give me, what can this person do for me, and not really thinking about how can I meet someone to just be my friend. Because to me, you know, the key to attracting the right man into your life starts with you trying to find a friendship with a person, because the friendship is what's going to make it last. It's not the physical part of it that's going to make it last. It's getting to know the person, you know, finding out what this person likes, what you like, what you have in common. You know, that's the important thing, not what society says, well, you should be with this guy because you don't want your friends to look at you and say, okay, she's showing up by herself. And then you're with a jerk, and and he's not treating you right, and then you're settling. Back to what we were talking about earlier. Then you find yourself settling in a relationship with somebody that's not meeting your needs, mentally, emotionally, or otherwise. Mm-hmm. So, you know, it's important to, you know, when you're looking to attract the right man, to look at building the friendship first with the individual, because when you build a friendship, then that's when everything else can develop. And then that's when you can find out, is this somebody I want to spend my life with? Is this somebody I see myself being with all the time? Is this somebody I can tolerate? You know, because, you know, when you meet people, you know, you have a perception of what you think it's going to be, right? When you meet a woman, you may think, okay, this might be the right person for me, or, you know, she may, you know, we may have a good time together, we may go this place together, and this person may be right. But then you start spending time with the person, you realize that this is really not somebody I want to spend too much time with, because you start finding, like, things that they're doing that's, like, irritating you. So when you build a friendship, there's no judgment. It's like, okay, I'm getting to know this person for who they are. I'm not going to prejudge them because I want to be in a so-called relationship with them, but I'm just going to get to know them as a person. And, you know, I think more women need to take more time out in building the friendship with men, because men are basically looking for a girlfriend, a wife, and a best friend all wrapped into one. Wouldn't you agree?
I agree. When with the society thing, and you correct me if I'm wrong, there are so many young women and older women out there,
right,
that get so caught up with what Betty thinks, or what Sally thinks, or what Pete thinks, or you know, the whole gang, my whole crowd that I run with, and so on and so forth. And
right.
And they hear all this noise. He's not good for you. Oh, he's very good for you. Oh, I think he's adorable. Oh, I think he's goofy. You know, isn't that right?
I mean, all these mixed messages.
Yeah. And so they're running around going, you know, one day they're up, the next day they're down. They decide, well, no, and they're all mixed up and all screwed up. Isn't that right?
Right, but you know, that's more to the individual, because if you want to live your life, you want to live your life in a way where you're letting other people's decisions dictate the choices you're going to make, that's not a positive thing, because you're going to constantly be running in circles if you're trying to make everybody happy, if you're trying to please everybody. You know, you can't spend your life trying to please everybody, trying to make everybody happy, because somebody's not going to be happy.
Right. Right.
So, you know, my advice to women that have a lot of girlfriends, most of the time, those are the girlfriends that are single that don't have a man in their life. So it's giving them all these mixed messages. And it could be a jealousy thing, especially if your girlfriends are used to spending time with you, and then you meet a guy and all of a sudden you guys click and you're spending less time with them. They're not going to say, yeah, go for it. He's great. It could be where, she's not spending as much time with us anymore. So you have to kind of really look at the signals that people are sending you and see where it's coming from. Is it coming from a sincere place? Is it coming from a good place? Or is it coming from a place where it's just that they want what they need at that time? And you have to just be able to read those signals, I think. You can't let people dictate your decisions. You'll just be a well-dressed walking zombie for the rest of your life if you continue to do that.
I have always told people, and of course they look at me like I got two heads, which I do on my show profile. But anyways, they look like you're really goofy, and they're right on that part too. But they'll say, Espinlaw, you fell out of a wheelbarrow and you bumped your head, because I've always been the guy, and there's been some times I shouldn't have. I know that. But I've always been the guy that if everybody's going to go to the right, for some reason, I'm compelled. I've got to go to the left. And if everybody's going up the hill, I'm compelled to stay where it's at or go around the hill or down the other hill. March to my own drum beat. And that's what these women need to do. They need to march to their own drum beat and forget about the music that others are singing. That's
true. I mean, I think that, single women out there that are looking for the right man, they need to ask themselves some questions. And some of the questions are, are you positioning yourself to meet the man of your dreams? Where are you meeting these people? In what environment? Where are you spending your time? Where are you looking for the person? And you have to realize that if you continue to spend your time in the same places, you're going to keep meeting the same kind of guys. You have to open your horizons a little bit, do things differently. If women think that they're going to meet their Mr. Right in a club, I don't know the chances. I'm not saying it can't happen, but the chances are not very high of that. Because everybody that goes in that environment, they're looking to have a good time. They're not really. It's always better if you can meet someone like by chance, like outdoors somewhere, or it doesn't really matter. But if you're like going somewhere, that the intentions of most of the men there are to just hook up, then I would suggest that a woman don't fool herself in thinking that she's going to meet her dream guy at a club. It just doesn't work out that way. You have to be more conscious of where you're spending your time, who you're spending time with, who's your circle of influence, who's your circle of friends. The kind of guy that you want to meet. Where would he be? Is he going to be in the places you're used to going, or is he going to be in a different environment? Is he going to be at an art gallery? Is he going to be at the coffee shop? Is he going to be at the gym? And start really positioning yourself in places for you to meet that type of guy. Well, I'm not saying type because I don't believe in the word type, but somebody that you share the same interest or similar interest as the person. Are you like books? You like going to the bookstore? Are you somebody that likes to read? Do you spend time at the bookstore? Just going to places that interest you. Doing things on your own. Spending time doing things on your own that makes you feel good and makes you interested. And the chances are you'll run into somebody like that without even looking for it, because when you're looking to attract the right man, it happens. It's like you want it to happen because you're feeling it, that it's going to happen, but it just happens unexpectedly, because that's what happened to me. It's like you want to meet someone because you tell yourself, okay, I'm ready for a relationship, I'm ready to settle down, I'm ready to meet my Mr. Right. That's the first step. You put that out in the universe. You have to verbalize it and put that out there. I'm ready to meet him. I'm ready to meet this guy that, I'm going to feel good with, that I'm going to have a good time with, that we're going to do a lot of the things that I like, that I enjoy, that I'm going to do things that he enjoys. And he's somewhere in some part of the universe, and he's just waiting to meet me. And you can have that kind of attitude, and you can put that out there, then you're putting that energy out for you to attract the man.
It's almost like that country song, looking for love in all the wrong places, huh? Yeah.
It's true.
It is true. And while you was talking, I mean, Georgia, everything you say makes so much sense. But while you were talking, I was thinking, wrong place, wrong place, wrong time, looking for love in all the wrong places. I got to get out of this town. All these things. But, you said like the bookstore. And I'm sitting here thinking, yeah, because a lot of women and a lot of men in society are only, like you said, they're only looking in one direction, in one place,
Right.
and they haven't committed to themselves, much less ready to commit to someone else. But that is so cool. You said something earlier, and you mentioned several times about liking or loving yourself.
Right.
I know some people, and I've met some people in my lifetime in different parts of this world that they're just mean. I mean, they're just no. I mean, it's like they wake up mean, they go to bed mean, and they stay mean in between time. And it took me a long time to understand and realize where that's coming from, but they don't like themselves. Now, I met some that's far to the extreme that really don't like themselves, and then I met others that they just don't like themselves. And I know some young ladies that's like that. They don't like themselves. And I talked to one. I said, "Why don't you like?" And they told me, "I don't like myself." A beautiful,
oh, wow.
beautiful.
They came out and said that?
Yeah, a beautiful young lady. I mean, beautiful. I don't like myself. Why don't you like myself? Well, and here's what she does. She takes the measuring stick and compares herself with those and them and these, with society. I don't like myself. How can someone learn to like themselves?
Well, in the book, why the book is so powerful, I'm not saying it just because I wrote it, is because I'm not just talking about how to attract the right man into your life. I'm talking about how to find your personal peace with yourself. And one of the ways that a woman can start to change that language of negativity is by speaking affirmations to herself. Looking in the mirror, saying, I am beautiful. I deserve to be with Mr. Right. I deserve to be with a man that loves and respects me. I love myself. I love how I look. I love my skin. I love my eyes. And start, affirming positive words about yourself to yourself. And when a woman can start speaking affirmations and start to say it every day, all the time, then now she starts to believe it. It's all about really putting it in her mind that, I am beautiful. Because just like you said, that young woman said, I don't like myself. She's probably been saying this for a long time. Right. So it's at a point where she really believes that something about herself that she doesn't feel that she likes and that she doesn't feel anybody else is going to like. So it's changing the language, changing the conversations that you have with yourself. When your voice is telling you, I'm not good enough. Why would I get a good man? Or there's no good men out here. Just change that language, reverse it that quick. As quick as it comes out of your mouth, that's as quick as you should turn it around and start saying positive things like, I'm deserving. I am worthy. I'm smart. I'm beautiful. I'm intelligent. I'm funny. I am energetic. And then start speaking these positive things. So I would say definitely speaking words of affirmation to themselves, and also meditation, because meditation is powerful, because most people haven't really taken time out to do that because they're so consumed by radio, television, internet, something else. Most people walk into their house, they can't even just sit in silence for a few minutes. They have to turn something on because they need some company. Mm-hmm. And, when you can learn to enjoy your own company and face yourself, that's what I call it, being able to face yourself in silence and being able to really take that time away from everything else. Then you can start to, reevaluate things and start to speak positive words to yourself, start meditating, thinking about good things, finding your personal peace. When I started meditating, I mean, it was just the most amazing thing. I felt so much power. Once I learned to meditate and once I started to do it consistently, I started to see that things around me started to change because of me taking that small portion out of the day just to self-reflect. And I believe that everybody needs to take that time out, because when you self-reflect, you rejuvenate yourself, because you're so consumed by so much negativity in the day. Imagine watching the news, or, you're hearing people call you, they're telling you about this or that's happening. You're on the internet, you see all this stuff, and you're so consumed by so much negative energy, then you start to feel negative yourself. So you have to try to figure out a way to not allow yourself to be so consumed by negativity. One of the ways to do it is to change the conversations you have with yourself, speaking affirmations to yourself, and meditation. And yoga. Yoga is good too.
I wrote an article years ago, and I titled it something like "Wanted Thinkers," and I challenged the readers to lay everything down. Go into a room, but before you go into a room, empty your pockets. No cell phones, no laptops, no nothing. Just
right.
You. Walk into a room, a very quiet room, and shut yourself away, and just sit there.
Right.
And think. Now, I know thinking is hard for some people, because it's just everything that you just said. They're moving faster than a speeding bullet. They're not.
Right.
They're not thinking. Their mind is racing. So,
right.
So they've got to go in. They've got to make a pit stop. Just sit down and get yourself collected and think. I think if.
So,
go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead and finish what you were saying.
I think this isn't proper English. I know that, but I've never been known to do that either. I think if people would think, then they would think that they are really thinking, perhaps for the first time, and their thoughts would get right. Does that make sense?
No, it does.
That's scary, Georgia. If you could understand, that's scary.
Because I know what you're coming for. I know what you're trying to say. I mean, when you remove yourself from everything, like you said, I think the hardest thing for people is to do that. Because you know why? They say the average person has about 60,000 negative thoughts a day.
Wow.
About 60,000. 60,000 thoughts a day, but most of them are negative. So it's always easy it doesn't take work to think negative. You know what I mean? It's not work. It's just something that becomes easy. It's like a second nature for people.
Uh-huh.
But like you said, it's more work to actually try to think positive. You have to put some effort into it. You have to put some work into it. And that's why even in society, it's so easy for people to be consumed by reality TV and watching someone else's misery, because it's easy. It's easy to be, to be entertained by that, by somebody else's misery and unhappiness, because it's easy. It doesn't take work. But to actually take the time out to say, you know what, instead of watching that reality show, I'm going to take out 5 minutes out of my day to pick up a positive book, or pick up a positive CD, or pick up something that's going to help me to feel good by myself. That takes work.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And most people don't want to do the work.
And
that's part of the problem we have today in society.
I like you, Georgia. I really do. No, I mean, it is so nice to talk to people that can think, that can
Right.
can think in a rational way, and it makes sense. Here's one, and I'm a guy asking questions about women, but I've been married for 45 years, and I always,
congratulations.
yeah, and I tell my wife, we've been married so long. If you leave me, I'm going with you. So, somewhere along the line in our marriage, we reached the point that we don't have to impress ourselves or other people anymore. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we're just comfortable, and it is what it is, and that's the way it is.
Right.
But when I look around, and I see some people, like there are some women that it's like you said, they haven't gotten it right. They haven't even been close to Mr. Right. What happens to, what's the deal with the woman that she doesn't like herself, or she's afraid of meeting Mr. Right? Is there such women as that?
Well, I think that you have to look at it like this. As a young girl, your perceptions are being built of a man, whether it's your father or any male figure around you. And if you've been exposed to certain things, or you have certain childhood experiences where, say, for instance, a girl who doesn't have her father in her life, of course there's going to be issues when she becomes a young adult, a young woman, because you've carried a lot of this baggage and this stuff from childhood that makes you have a perception of what you think a man should be, not what a real man should be, but what you've seen your mother with your father, or any male role models or any male model in your life at that time, and that's the perception that a young girl has. So if a young woman is used to seeing things a certain way, they really don't know how to go about attracting the right man, because they never had they never knew what a right man was.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
They're only going based on what they've seen or what they've experienced in their previous relationships. But they haven't really taken a time out to say, well, what issues do I have or about men? As far as trust issues, like my father was around but wasn't around. You know what I mean? Like, he was there for us financially. He wasn't there, so I never had emotional connection with my father.
Right.
So, growing up, I used to be like, why am I always attracted to older men? And part of that is formulated from you wanting to have that security of that man in your life, not as your father, but just that security part, to feel like safe. And all these things, if women if they don't take the time out to really find out about these things, then they're going to continue a pattern, of attracting Mr. Wrong, because they haven't been aware of, like, certain baggages and issues that they have about men that they have to work out within themselves. Like you said, angry people that are angry. How in the world do you think you're going to attract the right man if you're walking around angry all the time? These are deep-rooted issues. It has nothing to do with the man that you're looking to meet right now. These are issues that you have with yourself, with your past, with your childhood, with your parents, with your family, that you're walking around with. Could you imagine if someone was to try to take off a plane, all the baggage that people have in their lives, all the issues that they have, the plane would never take off.
Right.
Because we have so much baggage. Everybody has baggage, but if you don't take the time out to figure out what it is and how you could even better yourself, because, like, sometimes you'll find people in relationships and they'll say, well, he did this, or the blame game, or he wasn't right because he did this, and it takes two people to make a relationship work, and it takes two people to make it break up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's never just a one-sided thing, whether it's the man's fault or the woman's fault. Both people contribute to a relationship working. Both people contribute to a relationship falling apart. It's never a one-sided thing. So, you know, when people can take the time to say, you know what can I work on myself to make myself a better person? And that's what I'm talking about, getting to a place where you can be by yourself to find yourself. Because now when you find yourself, you're in a better position to attract the right person. Because now you have cleansed yourself of all these negativity, negative, you know, habits, negative experiences, and you're not carrying it into the next relationship. Because when you take baggage, you take it from one relationship to the next relationship, you're going to be in a never-ending cycle of relationships. And you're going to find that you're never happy because you keep carrying over the same baggage to a new relationship, and it's never going to work.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. If someone can sit down and examine themselves, and they are willing to dump the baggage, make the corrections in their own life, accept themselves for what they are, and learn to love themselves,
right,
they become a happy person, and everyone around them, not without their problems, everyone has their problems, but their whole personality is bubbly, it's more approachable, and the whole 9 yards, and everyone can tell. I mean, you can tell when a light bulb's lit up and when it's not lit up.
Right.
So if someone can do that inner work and get that stuff corrected and dump the baggage, then they're on their way, right?
Of course. Now you're on the way to attracting what you want into your life, because you have to exude that energy. Like you said, if you're a happy person, guys are going to be more attracted to you, because men want to be around women that make them feel good. So if the woman feels good about herself, he's going to be more attracted to you. He's going to want to spend time with you because you're approachable now. You're smiling. You know, no one wants to approach an angry woman. You know, so that makes a big difference in how you feel about yourself and where you are personally before you can even begin to attract that right man. It has to first start with the individual, and that's basically why I am saying in this book, you have to work on yourself, and when you've worked on yourself, now you're in a position where you can be approachable for the man that you need, not the man that you want, but the man that you need.
I wonder, I guess there's no way I'll ever know. Of course, I'm always wondering. But anyways, I wonder how many women, have you ever talked or did a survey or had a group of women that you talked to and they said, I was hung up on this type thing, you know, it's not my type, so on and so forth. And they did what they had to do, and they become more attractive, and they were attracting men. Have you talked to women that ended up attracting Mr. Right that was totally out of their old type? Am I making sense?
You mean attracting a type that's totally opposite from them?
Yeah, totally opposite from the type that they thought was the type.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, that happens all the time. I mean, that's why I said, you know, it's not what you want, but it's what you need. Because the type may not be tall and handsome and a bodybuilder type, but this is somebody that makes you laugh. This is somebody that when you're with him, he makes you smile. He just knows what to say to you. He brings out another side of you. You glow when you're with this person. So it's not about what they think they want. You know, you can meet somebody that you have so much in common with, that you thought, okay, I would have never been attracted to this guy if if I would have never, or this is what women usually say, I would have never pictured myself with somebody like him.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for.
Because,
yeah.
That wouldn't be somebody they would normally be attracted to, but that's the man that they fell in love with because of certain qualities that he had that made them feel good. And that's what it's more important. It's more important about a person's characteristics, because I say to women, when you're but when you're looking to attract, because I'm always talking about attracting, not seeking. But when you're in a position to attract the right man, you have to look at how this man deals with other people, even women that are dating. That are dating and looking at potential men that they would want to spend the rest of their lives with. They have to look at, is this man close with his family members? Is this man, how does he treat his kids? You can tell a person based on how they treat other people. You have to look at all of these qualities in this person. Is this person sincere? Is this person kind? Is this person an emotional giver or an emotional taker? And you can tell by how this person interacts with their family or how they interact with their friends. You can pick up a lot about a person. So my thing is, women need to take more inventory of the men that they're dating and saying, okay, let me look at all these things about this person before becoming physically intimate with the person and just being caught up with the physical attraction, because the physical attraction is not going to last. That dies out after a while.
Mm-hmm.
But really looking at, who this person is. My whole thing with, I had a radio interview the other day, and I had some callers call in, and this one woman called in and said, what's the problem with the woman having a one-night stand? Guys do it all the time. I said, well, the problem is that men and women are made differently. And, men can't connect with a woman emotionally and physically one night after meeting her, because men take time to connect emotionally to a woman. That's something that they have to build that trust with the woman. They have to take time. That's not going to happen because they met you one night and they thought you made them laugh so much and you were so cute and you looked so good that night, and then all of a sudden they're going to fall in love with you. Mm-hmm. I mean, mm-hmm. It's hard for men to connect, emotionally and physically in one night. And women, sometimes they say, well, okay, I just want to have a good time with this guy. He's not my type, but I just want him for, the intimacy. Mm-hmm. And then what happens is once they do that, they find themselves starting to like the person, and the person is not emotionally available for them. So why would you put yourself in a position, and those men that sleep with women the first night, they're thinking to themselves, and you should answer this question better than me, but how many other men has she done this with? I'm thinking that's the first thing that they're thinking.
Right.
What do you think about that?
No, you're absolutely right. It goes something like this. I'm not the first guy this happened to. You know what I'm saying? And you're thinking, I wonder how many other guys this has happened to. I mean, it's just right. it's just natural, and it's almost like an alarm system or a red flag system. The little red flag says doink, it pops up inside your head, and this little cannon fires off. Boom. It's one of the first things, but what happens is you just blow it off.
Right. But it's not somebody you don't want to be serious with, because in your mind you're already thinking, I don't know if I'll be able to trust this woman, right? I mean,
exactly. Yeah, I don't know how long the line was.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and that's what I try to explain. My whole thing is, I had tried to get women to. Men are not really that complicated. Sometimes women say that men are complicated, but I think men are simple. I think women are more complicated than men.
Oh, women are a piece of work.
They're very basic. They just want the basic things.
Mm-hmm. You're absolutely right, Georgia. You are. We are simple. I mean, and that covers a huge spectrum right there. That word "simple." Yeah, we are simple.
And if more women could start to understand men, then they wouldn't have a problem attracting them. Because if you know you like, okay, I'm just going to give you like a few tips that I talk about in the book on what are some things that women need to do to attract the right man.
Mm-hmm.
So some of the things that I talk about is hold on to the cookies. Lit the cookie jar. I have a chapter called Lit the Cookie Jar, which don't have sex too quick with a man. Give a man the time to get to know you, get to learn who you are, and let him earn your trust. Don't just give it to him. You know, I talk about to determine how long you will hang around in a relationship that the man is not willing to commit. So for all the women out there that's like with a guy that's thinking, okay, this is the one I want to marry, but he's not proposing and he's not as into you as you are into him, then you have to determine how long am I going to stick around in this. You have to set a time frame and say to yourself, if things are not progressing the way that I want, I need to decide what that date is going to be that I'm going to, you know, make that change.
Uh-huh.
And also, you know, women being truthful about their expectations, you know, with a man. Letting him know where they're at, what they're looking for, and forget playing the games. You know, I think that's a big problem with the dating game now. It's like everybody wants to play games, you know. Be upfront. Say what you want, you know, be truthful, be honest. You know, when you're, you know, my whole thing, I never really understood why when people first meet each other and they just start dating, why they lie about seeing somebody else or why they lie about, you know, dating other people. Because in the beginning, you have nothing to lose because you don't know the person that well. You have more to lose when you get deeper in a relationship with the person and you started out with a lie.
Right, right.
You know, I mean, it just makes sense to me. I mean, if you don't know somebody, what do you have to lose? You told them, okay, I'm seeing other people, you know, I'm just, you know, dating until I meet the right guy or I meet the right girl. Well, when you start off on a lie and now you start to have feelings for this person, now you have to try to keep lying to keep on track with the first lie that you told.
Yeah. And you know, here's another thing guys do when they hear that, no, I'm not dating no one, or I'm not seeing no one, or, you know, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. You know, again, you get that red flag pop up, doink, and then that little cannon says, boom, and you're thinking, why? You know, that why? But it's just why? Does that make sense? I mean, why? Maybe it's why not? You know, you're not seeing no one. Why not? You know, you're not with no one. Why not? You know, and then
right.
Later on, like you said, you find out that they were, and, you know, then you're in a real pickle jar.
Right, exactly. So, you know, I mean, you know, that's the whole problem with the dating game now. There's so many games. You know, people need to be more upfront and be, you know, honest about what they're feeling and what they want. Because, you know what, when you're, even though the person may not, like, okay, I'll give you another example. Like a woman may meet a guy that he tells her, I'm not looking for a serious relationship. Because I think men are more open with their feelings when it comes to things like that. They'll tell you, especially in the beginning, I'm not looking to settle down. You know, I'm not looking to, I mean, it depends on if they're in a position where they're going to get laid. They may lie. But, you know, they'll say, okay, I'm seeing someone. I'm not looking for a relationship. And then this woman may get into a relationship with him, or she may start seeing him for a while. And then she's confused at why he won't commit. I don't get that.
Right.
You know, he already told you in the beginning when you first started to see him that he was not looking for a serious relationship. What? I don't know. I'm thinking, like, what in your mind made you think that you were going to change this man? And that's another thing I talk about in the book. You know, women to stop thinking that they can change a man into what they want them to be. You know, because you really can't change a person. The person has to want to change themselves. And, you know, getting to a place where you're not trying to mold and shape and make this person into your ideal man. And I think a lot of times that happens in relationships is that people try to change the person that they're with, and then they become frustrated and angry and disappointed and unhappy when this person's not coming over to the other side to what they want them to be. And you just have to be honest with yourself and be honest with the other person and say, this is who they are. When you get into a relationship with them, this is who they are. You have to decide, is this somebody I want to be with? From the very beginning. And know if this is somebody you see yourself down the line with, and not fool yourself and not settle, which I always talk about. Stop settling. Ladies, you got to stop settling for what you think you can get and have to go for what you want, because you can get what you want in a relationship.
Now, ladies,
take time out to work on yourself.
Ladies, listen to me, and I mean this. If I was a lady, I'd listen to what Georgia's saying. Now, I'm a man, and I'm listening to what Georgia's saying. How's that? And Georgia, you're a pleasure to talk to. I mean, you're just pretty neat.
You.
That's all there is to it. But ladies, listen to what this lady's saying. It almost makes you wish that you was a lady so you could try some of these things out that she said. But ladies, I want you to email me, ladies, and let me know how this thing works out. But nonetheless, go to this website. Let me hit my button here. Georgia Woodbine. That's WOODBINE. GeorgiaWoodbine.net. How to attract the right man into your life. No more settling. Wow.
That's right.
I like that. You have spoken to tons of people and groups and all over the place, right?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
What's
That's my mission. My mission is to continue to touch people around the world, 1 million plus people, just touching them to help them want to change their life in a positive way and help them to live in their highest potential, whether it be through their job, their career, their relationships, whatever it is, just to share the knowledge with people so that they realize that they have the power to change whatever they want in their life. You just have to make the decision to do it.
And they can get your book at your website?
Yes, they can get my book at my website. It'll be available at Barnes & Noble soon, but for now they can get it at Amazon. They can get it at www.georgiawoodbine.net. You can go to my website. That's the best place to get it now.
Okay.
But it will be available soon at Barnes & Noble.
And we'll keep pushing the remaining portion of the show tonight. Oh, Georgia, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you, George. Thanks for having me.
Listen, I hope you come back again.
Absolutely.
Give
me a call, shoot me an email, and we'll make it happen again.
All right. I just enjoyed this. It's been a blast. I really liked it.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, ma'am.
I tell you, it's a hot topic. Everybody's looking for the right relationship. So.
Mm-hmm. All right, ladies, listen to what the lady said. Georgia, God bless you. And give our regards to your husband. And thank you so much for coming on board with us tonight.
Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And there we are. That was neat. That was really neat. I've got to take me a break, and I'll be right back. And so, listen, now here comes the part of the show where we just let that cloud of insanity fall down upon us. And we get out on the dance floor. And we let our hair down. I mean, those that have hair. We let our hair down. We kick the seats back, the chairs back. You that are out in the parking lot, this is where they jump off the back of their off of their pickup trucks, their picnic trucks. Same difference. This is when they jump off the back of their pickup trucks, off the front of the hoods, out of the trees. They come out of the trees. This is where they get it on, and they begin to tap their feet, snap their finger, bob their heads, and most of all, they shake their booty. have no idea what happened. Charlie, evidently, there's something wrong with it. Fix it for me. All right. Listen, Thursday night, Michael Callahan is going to be here out of Nashville, Tennessee. And he's got one of the coolest songs going on, Chicken on a Chain.
Till the sun comes up, she was a fox in the hen house, and from where I stood, that girl was working that thing, looking finger licking good. Some romancing, some dirty dancing, shaking and a baking. Now I'm like a chicken on a chain. My little heart's a going bang, 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 and she keeps a tossing me the grain. I can't remember my name. I'm like a chicken on a chain. Chicken on a chain. Now I'm cuddling on the couch and rubbing her feet, washing up the dishes, putting down the toilet seat. And once a month we have a heart-to-heart talk. Can't believe I'm buying tampons at the Stop and Shop. She got me twisting like a pretzel on a yoga mat. The next thing I know, she'll be waxing my back. Call me battered, deep fried, toss me in the bucket. I'm like a chicken on a chain. My little heart's a going bang, 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 and she keeps a tossing me the grain. I can't remember my name. I'm like a chicken on a chain. Chicken on a chain. I'm like a chicken on a chain. Chicken on a chain. I'm putty in her hands after one touch. You ask me, that woman's got the right stuff. The two of us, we can really turn the heat up with champagne and Pizza Hut. A chick flick, I'm bound to get plucked. I'm like a chicken on a chain. My little hearts are going bang, 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 and she keeps it tossing me the grain. I can't remember my name. I'm like a chicken on a train. Chicken on a chain. I'm like a chicken on a chain. Chicken on a chain. Hey, come on now. Chicken on a chain. I'm like a chicken on a train.
All right, chicken on a chain. Charlie, what's going on anyhow? I don't your board's not working right. Yeah, I understand that. But I don't understand why. Anyhow, I want to give a great big shout out. I mean a great big shout out to Justin and Heather, 2 new listeners to the George Espinlove Show. And I thank them, and I thank everyone. Listen, we had us a super great weekend as far as having a great weekend. But when it come to the broadcast part of it, we had some big disappointments. No one was any more disappointed than I was. Thursday night, we were getting ready to set up the equipment and go live from down in Tall Pines, down there in Virginia, when all of a sudden things turned really, really ugly. All day long, the sun was shining. It was warm, a little breezy, but nonetheless. About 4:30, I was sitting down, and I was beginning to write the description of the night's show, and all of a sudden, seriously, this is what I heard. And so I kept typing away. I thought, well, that's off in the distance, and no muss, no fuss. And I began to type again, and I was getting all excited, going live from Tall Pines down here in Virginia. We are going to get it going on tonight, right here. We're going to talk to people. We're going to interview the owner and blah, 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 you know, all that good stuff. And then I looked off to the right. It was the ugliest looking dark cloud that was flowing. I mean, they wasn't just drifting in, they were flowing in. And I looked over my shoulder to the bay, and those waves were angry. And I mean, the next thing I knew, there was some of this, some of that, and a whole bunch of this. And there was extreme lightning. I mean, lightning was flashing. It looked like a light show going on. But the clouds got darker, and the thunder got louder, and the rain came down harder, and the winds began to blow ferociously, and the water began to come up. Well, needless to say, that shot Thursday night. But we thought for sure we're going to broadcast live Friday night, and we're going to broadcast Saturday night. We know we are live from Tall Pines down here in Virginia. When Friday, the wind blew, the sun was out. Took a while, but the sun came out, and the wind blew, and the wind blew, and the wind blew, and we had problems with internet connections, and we had problem with internet connections, and we had problems with internet connections. And so, as far as broadcasting this past weekend, I apologize deeply, but we have made some changes, so that won't have to happen again. We have moved in a different direction as far as the technology goes. So when we are out and broadcasting live, we won't have to rely on what we had to rely on before, because we have something very reliable that will get us through the night. So I apologize for that and for us not being on the air. Now, we had a beautiful time. We had a wonderful time. We had a delightful time. But when it comes to the broadcasting side, we had a very disappointing time. So I said all that to say this. I'm sorry. But nonetheless, I want you to tune in tomorrow night. Let me get my gizmo here. Because tomorrow night, we are going to have us singer, songwriter, musician, Hilda Lamas. And she is going to sing, and she is going to talk to us, and she's going to tell us her story, and then she's going to sing to us some more. And it's just going to be a rockin' night tomorrow night. So tune in, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time for Hilda Lamas. Wednesday night, we had Linda Katz with us. What was it, last Wednesday night? Linda has written a book, How to Survive Mental Illness. Her story. And in the process of us talking last week, after about, I think, 40-some minutes or so, her phone went bad, and we had to let her go, and we've rescheduled her. We're bringing her back Wednesday night. And so you'll want to hear the conclusion of Linda Katz and her book, How to Survive Mental Illness. Ladies and gentlemen, this young lady has been there, done that, and she is an inspiration to all. And she's had the courage to write her story, How to Survive Mental Illness. If you missed us last time, tune in Wednesday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Linda Katz will get us caught up to speed and take us on down the home stretch. And then, Thursday night, we have another singer, songwriter, musician out of Nashville, Tennessee, Michael Callahan. We are going to have a good time talking to Mike. Playing Mike's music, Mike singing, Mike talking. Mike will be here on Thursday night. And then on Friday night, Catherine Aldrich will be with us. Oh my. And she has some things to tell us. And I'm going to not tell you about what she has to offer, because I want to put it up on the page news and all that good stuff. It's a thriller. It is a thriller. And you're going to have to tune in on Friday night. And besides, Friday night at the Funny Farm, you never know what's going to happen. But that's what we got lined up for you this week. So, enough of my lip dripping. Let's get on with it. Let's get it done with this.
Got a tie up a knot that I can't undo. rolling through the night like a high-strung kite. I feel the thunder rumble under my heels. The night is fighting cold and this old highway gets old as the miles are stacking up on the wheel. I can cut like a razor through the fog or the haze, or I can slow this fat boy Harley on down. But tonight I got to go and there ain't no going slow. This ain't no fooling around. I've got 15 miles, but I'm riding in style. I got the chrome steel pounding the ground. I got the hammer down. I got the hammer down. Well, I know this town so well, you can taste the smell. The steam is rising up out in the street. Last time I came this way, I stayed for 3 or 4 days up in the red light suite. I've got 14 miles, but I'm riding in style. I've got the chrome steel pounding the ground. I got my hammer down. I got the hammer down. I'm gonna find myself that pretty woman. I'm gonna dress her up and take her to play. We're gonna dance till the sun in the morning. When we're done dancing, gonna have our way. I got the hammer down. I got the hammer down. Got the hammer down. I 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 got the hammer down. Hammer down. Got the hammer down. Hammer down. I got the hammer down. Got the hammer down. I got the hammer down. I got the hammer down. I got the hammer down. Got the hammer down. I got the hammer down. I got the hammer alone in Detroit City, standing in the cold rain. Well, it's dark and I'm starting to wonder just why I came. I rode here on a Greyhound as far as I could afford to go. Ain't got no friends in this town, nobody that I know. It's a motor city, feel the heat down in my soul. 'Cause that motor city beat takes away the cold. I can feel that Motown sound, these holes in my shoes. And I think I got a case of them Motor City blues. Talked it over with my guitar, she never let me down. Came here together this far, something about this town. This place is a legend, the Detroit Ironhead soul. There ain't no question, she wants to rock and roll. It's a motor city, feel the heat down in my soul. a case of them Motor City blues.
And all that music we just played was by Too Big. We're going to have to get those boys here, and we're going to feature their music and have them on the show. I can guarantee that. Ladies, go to this website, Georgia Woodbine. Georgia Woodbine, WOODBINE.net. Get Georgia's book, How to Attract the Right Man into Your Life, No More Settling. And tell your girlfriends, all your other friends, if they didn't listen to the show live tonight, go back into the archive and listen to it at their leisure. And that goes for all of our shows. Every one of our shows is available for download free of charge, and you can go back and you can listen to them at any time that you want to, day or night. And you can download one, some, or all of them. It's entirely up to you. And so pass the word, ladies. If you didn't listen to Georgia Woodbine tonight live, tell them to tune in and get it and listen to it, because that lady just knows what she's talking about. And get that book. Go to Georgia Woodbine, WOODBINE.net, and read all about it. Tomorrow night we're going to have Hilda Lamas with us, and you are going to enjoy her. She's an artist that we have featured her music. We're going to feature her music again tomorrow night, and we are going to hear from her. We're going to put her in the spotlight and her in the music. And the music in the spotlight. She's in the music, and the music's in her. And she'll be with us tomorrow night. And here is a sample of what this lady is going to sound like. You sing it, girl.
The smile on his face, the shine on his shoes. Where's my honey going to? The weekend rolls around and I shouldn't know. Even if he's late, he's gonna come home. Can't take the mud out of the Mississippi. Can't
And that was one of the passenger planes that just flew out of the Funny Farm Airport. The amazing thing about the Funny Farm Airport is that the flights that leave here don't go far. They're not up in the air very long. They turn around and come right back. Many come, but few leave. And those that do leave get out there somewhere, and then all of a sudden they want the pilot to turn around and bring them back to the Funny Farm because they found out that it's a whole lot safer in our world than it is in the real world. What do you have to do to become a full-fledged loon? Absolutely nothing. Well, you do have to do something. You have to tune into the George Espinlove Show Monday through Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. What don't you have to do? You don't have to buy anything. You don't have to sign anything. Just tune in, come in, let your hair down. Don't worry what people think. Don't worry when they raise that eyebrow and look at you strange. That's all you have to do is to become a full-fledged loon. Just come on in. Another great big shout out to my friends Justin and Heather, and a special shout out to Lou Balls and Davina up there in southern New Jersey. They sound like they are very, very happy. And I'm happy for you, Lou and Davina. Give me a call. Let's talk. There's so much that we need to catch up on. So you give me a call, Mr. Lou. And Davina, you keep that fella straight, which I know you will. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, friends, Romans, and countrymen, I see the caboose coming around the corner. It's time for me and Charlie to jump on and get on out of here tonight. It's been a pleasure. It has been so great to be back on the air after a disappointing weekend. But that was then. This is now. Onward, upward, and off we go. Tune in tomorrow night. And remember, there's a whole lot of love coming to you from the Funny Farm. We mean that. If it's nighttime where you're at, you have a good night. If it's daytime, then you have a fine day. But regardless of where you are and what it is, till tomorrow night, same time, same station, 6:30 p.m. right here on Spreaker.com. You tune in to the George Espinlove Show, and we'll have something here for you. You're bound to like something. So until then, this is George Espinlove challenging you. Be kind one to another. Don't take no wooden nickels. Watch out when you cross those streets. And I'll see you tomorrow night. Good night, everybody. Come on, Charlie. Let's get on out of here.